Hi, this is Jamie Magrich. I want to show how I made this box. It's inspired by a box that Eve of Scrapbooking with Me made. She showed how to make these boxes that she was making as treat boxes, and she made them out of a 12 by 12 card. Now this is the template that I had for the 12 by 12 card. And it makes a really nice box. I made this box, and I actually put a little mini album in mine. But then I was thinking I would like one that would hold an A2 size card. I make a lot of very dimensional cards. So I came up with this box. And in order to do that, I figured out, I took the envelope for the A2 size card, and I figured out how big of a space I needed for the card to sit in. How big of a space I would need for my card to sit in. And then how deep I wanted my box to be. So it's A plus B, which is the size needed for the card to fit in, plus the height of the box on the plus I needed the flap side, which was the 3/4 of an inch. So that's how I knew how wide I needed it to be. And then the length is the size of the box, plus the height, which is the same as the height on the sides, plus the size of the box again, plus the flap that I need to fold inside the box. And that's how I came up with my dimensions. I just played with it until it worked. Now Eve started with a 12 by 12 card. I'm going to be working with a 12 by 9 3/4 inch card. So let me cut this 9 3/4 of an inch. The piece that you cut off, you can use to make a belly band at the end to hold your box closed if you wish to. I chose to tie mine with a bow. I'm done with the cutting tool. I don't need that anymore. I'll bring in the scoring board. And we have two sizes. Again, this is a 12 by 9 3/4 of an inch. On the 12-inch side, we are going to score at 4.5 inches, 5.5 inches, 10 inches, and 11 inches. And then we're going to turn it. We're going to score on the 9 3/4 inch side at 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4 of an inch, 8 inches, and 9 inches. Okay. And you'll see there's a side that has the two short score lines, the side with the long score line. On the side with the long score line, on the edges, we're going to cut off this long flap here and this one little rectangle on both sides. So we're going to take our scissors, we're going to cut off this long flap, our long rectangle, and the next little square rectangle next to it. We're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. I'll put it this way because it fits in there better. Good job. So we've cut off, there's this little, we've cut off those two pieces. Okay, now on this side, there's 4 little squares. We're going to cut off these 3 corner squares on both sides. So there's 4 little squares. We're cutting off the 3 outside squares. Okay, so now it looks like this. Okay, now we're going to bring in a ruler, any kind of ruler, and a scoring tool. You'll see there's 4 little corners, 4 little squares. We need to score from the inside corner to the outside corner, inside corner, outside corner on all 4 of those little squares. If you can find where the corner is in your scoring tool and you can line it up, that's great. I had a hard time doing that, so I just kind of used my ruler. Get the scoring thing out of the way. The grooves will be in the way. So from the outside or inside corner to the outside corner and score. Doesn't have to be a deep score, it just helps when you go to fold up the box. And then here you see that little square there, so you're going from the inside corner to the outside corner. And just score. I'm going to do that on both sides. Inside corner to the outside corner and score. Inside corner and outside corner and score. Okay, now we're going to fold on all of the score lines and burnish it well with our bone folder. The only one we can't burnish is the triangle because that's kind of hard to get to. The crisper that we make these lines, our creases now, the better the box folds up. Okay. One more. Okay, now the corners, we're going to take this straight edge. Hold on, I apologize. Quiet! We're going to take this straight edge and this straight edge. We're going to push them together, and that crease that we made in that corner should fold right on there. And then we'll burnish that down. We want to do that on all four corners. The two straight edges together. Okay, now on this one is a little trickier. This is the only hard part of the box, is getting these corners folded. Okay, now your box is done. So we're going to fold up these sides with the little flaps. Fold them up like that. These two will lay flat. We're going to fold that up to the like this. Fold this over. That's the top of the box. And this little flap here is going to go inside where that fold is there. And it's just going to tuck in on either side, and that makes the locking mechanism for your box. Just tucks in there. And there's our box. It's a basic box. It's very simple. It will hold 4 A2 size cards. I made the box. I loved it. I decorated it. And then I decided I wanted one that had a window in it. So I opened it up. Bring in the die cutting machine. Okay. On the front flap, where you have these two little flaps here, in between there is where we're going to want our window. So I found a die from my stash. It happens to be a Heartfelt Creations die, but any die will work, any shape, whatever you want. And I put it where I wanted it on my, within that space, so it didn't cut into these flaps. Taped it down with Post-it tape. I'm going to put it on my platform. You want to make sure that it is square on the platform, because it's just going to fit within that 6-inch space that is allotted. Put the top plate on. Make sure it's as flush to the edges as possible. And then I'm going to run it through. I'm going to try to only run it through as far as I can, making sure that it's cut all the way. And then run it back just so I don't risk messing up the other side of the box. Okay, I'm done with my die cutting machine. This piece here you could use for something else to decorate the front of your box, or the belly band if you're going to use that. Then I would put a piece of acetate here. I forgot to bring one out, but I'll fold the box back up. Oh, I fumbled fingers on here. Around the corners of the flap, it does slide in easier, but it's not necessary. And there's your box. It will hold 4 cards with envelopes. There's 3 cards. Where's the other card? I'll just grab another one. Now, see, my cards are quite dimensional, so there's 4 cards. Open the box up. Sit down in there nicely. back up, tuck the flap in. There you have it. Have a nice box that holds A2 size cards. To give away as gifts, make it a nicer presentation if you're going to sell them. Well, have a great rest of your day.